I grew up in Indiana. My parents never went to church when I was young, but my next door neighbor went to a Methodist church. So I asked my friend, do you think your parents would allow me to come with you to church? So they said, sure, as long as it's okay with your parents. So I went to church with them for many years in the Methodist church. So I kind of grew up in the Methodist church and moved down to 1969, moved here to Tampa, Florida. And I met my husband, my ex-husband here in 1974. We got married in the Methodist church. Then in 1977, he left my daughter and I, and I've been a single mother now since 1979. And I found St. Paul's Catholic Church through a friend of mine. I was working at St. Joseph's Hospital for 24 years in radiology. And my friend, Alicia argues, she invited me to St. Paul's Catholic Church in 1979. And that's when I came here first to St. Paul's. And I fell in love with the Catholic Mass and fell in love with the church. And the pastor there at the time was Father Mullen, who's now Monsignor Austin Mullen. And he was from Ireland, and my father was from Ireland too, his family. So he was kind of like a father figure to me. So I went through the RCIA in 1979. Then in 1980, at the Easter Vigil Mass, I was received into the church and communion and brought into the church and had my first Holy Communion. So my father had to work that day. He was a truck driver, drove from 7 o'clock that morning till 7 o'clock in the evening. So after the Mass, the Vigil Mass at the Easter service, I called him up to tell him about it. But sadly, they had told me he had just died of a heart attack right while I was here in this church receiving Holy Communion for the first time. So Father Austin Mullen was so instrumental and so wonderful and helped me through a really very difficult time. My father was only 54 years old when he passed away in 1980, Easter Vigil Mass. So that was a tough time. The Lord was so wonderful to bless me with a wonderful church family and to help me through the difficult times raising my daughter alone since 1977. I raised my daughter, Carrie Ann, here in the St. Paul's Catholic Church since she was little. And she loved the Lord when she was a young girl. And she's been a real blessing in my life. I worked at St. Joseph's Hospital, like I said, for 24 years. And through the years, as a single mother, making a woman's wage, we were very poor, lived in small little apartments, but they were clean, and we were very happy together. And I went to Mass, luckily, every morning here at 7 a.m. for like 20 years. And then I'd also be able to go to Mass at St. Joseph's Hospital where I worked because they had a Catholic chapel there. And at lunchtime, I would go to Mass there as well. So it was really blessed to be able to go to Mass twice a day for 20-some years that I was there. So it was a real blessing. And God has really helped me and blessed me throughout my life with wonderful friends, wonderful church members and family to help me through my difficult times.